to today's session, application of various technologies in business management. In today's session, we are going to learn about ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, Supply Chain Management, SCM, and CRM, Customer Relationship Management. We might also look into some of the other topics like business process reengineering. To start with ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning. The word ERP itself denotes enterprise, resource and planning. An enterprise is any organization or a business entity which is performing business activities, and it definitely has various resources around it. Now these resources could be the organizational assets, policies, programs, functions, or any of the functional units like physical components, machineries, raw materials, any of these. Can we have a software which can help us plan these resources in an optimum utilization? A software which can help planning of better utilization of these resources. Now let us look into the definition of ERP. ERP is a set of integrated business applications or modules which carry out common business functions such as maybe ledger related, accounting or order management or any of the business activities. What exactly is an ERP? Now is it simply a software package, or does it integrate all these business activities and enable certain activities which otherwise was not possible in the manual systems? ERP helps in optimizing, maintaining and tracking business functions. Now there are various functional departments in any organization. Functional areas like human resource systems, marketing systems, production systems, distribution systems, maybe logistic systems, and all these functional units vary from one organization to other organization. Now information flows through all these departments or functional areas to the top management, and all the resources, engagement or optimum utilization needs to be tracked and monitored. There is where an ERP package is going to be applicable. Now you can see in the diagram how information is flowing pertaining to the activities of all these functional areas. Now the information might be about the day-to-day activities like material and product flow, here what is represented in the picture, or it could be any operations or activities which have been performed in the business setup. Now in the next diagram we see with the functional activities, the external stakeholders like suppliers and customers are also included. So ERP package can integrate external as well as internal stakeholders. Now it becomes like a connecting software package to enhance the overall business activities. Now let us look into how ERP evolved since 1960s. If you look at the graph here, since 1960s ERP has been growing, and today we have reached a stage where we talk about cloud technologies. The enterprise resource planning package, which initially was intended to manage inventory or store the data in small records or files like inventory control packages, moved to become like a material requirement planning stage in 1970s. And 1980s, most of the business entities started using MRP2, Manufacturing Resource Planning 2, and the data was quite well organized. By 1990s, ERP evolved, and it was at a stage where organizations were benefited from that. The databases had evolved, and from 1990s to 2000, there was also evolution of ERP in terms of internet integration. Web-enabled ERPs were designed and integrated in the business processes. That was also the period of globalization, and business were growing beyond borders. Technologies like internet and integrated applications enabled ERPs in a smooth integration. By 2010, we had cloud ERPs. Cloud computing was, evolving, and as and when new technologies were evolving, it was possible to integrate the enterprise resource planning packages on those technologies. Now moving forward, an ERP might comprise of multiple modules or software packages or utilities designed to align with the business activities in an organization. In general, when we look at some of the ERP modules, we can list them as sales and distribution module, which is called as S&D module, materials management module, production planning module, quality management module, plant maintenance module, asset management module, human resources module, project systems module, financial accounting model, controlling model, workflow model, and in general these are also called as like FICO model. In finance they call it as finance and control as FICO model. Now when you look at an ERP package today, one of the common word is like SAP, or people call it as like SAP. So SAP packages have been available in various organizations. Now it need not be like an organization has to choose all of these modules. They can select whichever modules they want. And you might also have a question, how expensive is it going to be when an organization integrates all these into their different departments? Definitely it is going to be very expensive. That is one of the challenges organizations face even today. So they prioritize on which department has more activities which could be automated and integrated on the ERP package, and go for that particular unit first, and later on stage by stage they expand the integration of ERP activities. ERP package also enables that flexibility of extension over a period of time. But most of the organizations choose all those relevant models which would be useful for their business decision making, which forms a business intelligence or a data flow system, and implement the ERP package. Let us now look into some of the benefits of ERP package. One of the major benefits is the data stays in the common set, like it is a common database, and it is possible to pull data from one sectional unit to the other sectional unit. It is more like a cross-functional package. Help in integrating applications for decision making and planning. We saw all the units have been integrated, so it helps in integrating applications for decision making and planning. Allows departments to talk or exchange data between, and then it is easy to integrate by using process like built into an ERP software. And it enables continuous business process re-engineering, like as and when we are executing, we will be able to improvise on the process activities. Some of the most common or widely accepted ERP packages are SAP, Oracle, PeopleSoft, Microsoft Dynamics, JD Edwards, Siebel, and not only these, when we look into today's scenario, there are multiple other advanced ERP packages which could be listed like SAP S4HANA, Acumatica, Epicor, Udo, Oracle ERP Cloud, quite popular, and it's like SYS Pro. So all these packages are useful. Now once the ERP is implemented, organizations extend these ERP facilities to their vendors, suppliers, customers and employees. And they would be able to integrate all these activities, pull in the data and see the activities flowing with the help of the software package. Now how much would it cost to implement an ERP? Is it very expensive? These days smaller ERPs or ready-made ERP packages are quite available, because with the affordability and small businesses wanting to embrace ERP package, it is possible to design simple applications. While there are most standard editions and enterprise editions of packages available, which are customized and designed based on the organizational requirement. Definitely it is going to be expensive when an organization thinks of automating all the complete processes. Otherwise, it is like dependent on whichever sections or modules they want to automate on. Some of the common questions is about ERP are: how much does an ERP cost? Should every business buy? May not be. Is ERP software inflexible? No, it is very flexible. What return can a company expect from its ERP investment? When you talk about both the questions about ERP, definitely there is going to be the return on investment, because ERP technologies have always proved that the automated processes are going to achieve business efficiency. Now, not only that, there might also be a situation when ERP is failed. Now, this might be for various reasons, like the lack of preparedness, like people are not ready to implement it, the organization did not make enough efforts to implement ERP, or it might also be using an outdated ERP package. So, there could be multiple reasons like this. Now, it is not only that ERP package is implemented, it needs to be communicated and it should also be comfortable for the employees to use it. So, the employees also need to have proper training of ERP package, usage and applications. Now, in this particular module, we are going to take the example of pharmaceutical industry to understand how a ERP package with respect to pharmaceutical industry or a company would look like. Now, ERP for pharmaceuticals might have a medical representative model, sales and distribution model, batch process record, validation protocol like standard operation procedures, total quality management, formulation management, plant maintenance, inventory and material management, purchase management, accounts and finance management, exercise management, or maybe few more. Now, the same module can be shown in terms of individual sections, as you see in the next diagram. Now, these are various applications of different modules in a pharmaceutical company. Now, with this small explanation, we were able to understand an ERP is a package which is useful for integrating all the cross-functional systems of an organization. Now, moving forward, there are also other application softwares. In this module, we have been trying to understand different technology applications in business management. We just completed with ERP. Now, let's move on to supply chain management. Supply chain management is the process of managing the flow of goods, data and finances from the sourcing of raw materials to delivery of finished product to a customer. The goal of supply chain management is to improve efficiency, quality, productivity and customer satisfaction. Now, we just understood supply chain management activity is everything from procuring raw material to delivering the finished product to the end user or customer. Now, if we are looking into the formal definition of supply chain management, it is management of a network of all business processes and activities involving procurement of raw materials, manufacturing and distribution management of finished goods. So, there is a saying like right product at right place to the right customer at the right time. So, that is what we are trying to see in the particular paragraph. Now, every organization has various types of supply chain activities. Now, when we look into a typical supply chain activities, it is mostly involving the transportation, logistics, warehousing, inventory management and sort of these activities. Now, we can take a look at the supply chain management activities and how it is integrated with information systems. Now, in the diagram what we are seeing, there is information flowing and materials flowing between various layers of inventory and logistics management, customer service and transportation, warehousing. Now, you see between warehousing and transportation there is materials flow. Now, once these activities are performed, let us say once the product is made, there is like customer service like order management, fulfillment, help desk, career selection or maybe rate negotiation. Similarly, once the product is ready, it might also be other inventory and logistics related management activities. Now, in any organization, when we try to identify where are goods manufactured and how those goods are brought to the selling place, or a semi-finished assembling place where the semi-finished goods are assembled and given the final touch, and from there how it is coming to the customers. Now in all this process, the goods have to come from one point to another point, halt for some time, get assembled, take a new shape or form, and then go to the next layer. So that whole process is called as supply chain management. Now we call this as raw materials procurement to manufacturer, to wholesaler, to retailer, to reseller or the end user. Now in this whole chain of activities, you need to track the information like when was the order raised, what is the product, what is the quantity, where is it going, where it needs to be delivered. So if we consider examples like retail sector, we will understand that movements are quite fast and frequent because consumption of goods is very high. Manufacturing might start occurring only once the order is raised. Now in all these cases, supply chain management activities, information needs to be created and flown, and for this we take help of electronic data interchange, or what is called as EDI. Information is raised, or what you call like the moment any activity is done, that information is processed, generated and reflected to the respective parties to make them aware like what is the next stage and what is happening with the product. Now this is the link or chain of activities in supply chain management. Now let us look into the benefits of supply chain management. It definitely enables faster and more accurate order processing, reduction in inventory levels, lower transaction and material costs, strategic relationship with suppliers. Now when we look into the supply chain management activities, an organization might be dependent on various modes of transportation or inventory management types. Now in the diagram what we are seeing, we see like a typical pharmaceutical supply chain might comprise of certain activities like you see in the first stage, material costs, transportation costs, manufacturing costs. I mean your supply chain activity is also enabled to identify these costs, and you can also see the lines are linking between suppliers to manufacturer, warehouse and distribution centers to the customers. Now in this whole process you can see there is multi-layer of activities. That is the benefit of supply chain, where you will be able to not only track the goods in flow, you will also be able to manage the inventory, you will also be able to understand the orders, maybe understand more about the costs incurred, and it is very beneficial for making timely decisions and delivering the product on time. Having understood so much about supply chain management, let us now know what are some of the most popular supply chain management packages available. Oracle SCMs, which is an all-in-one business solution that connects supply chains to create a robust network. Blue Yonder, Logility, E2 Open, and there might be many other supply chain management softwares which are quite popular, and these days some of the medium and small enterprises are also embracing supply chain management application tools. Now let us move on to the next topic for the session, customer relationship management. Customer relationship management is all about use of information technology to create cross-functional enterprise system that integrates and automates many of the customer serving processes in sales, marketing and customer services that interact with a company's customers. Now, when we talk about customer relationship management, we can understand the relationship with the customer starts once there is a new product requirement or a customer looking at the company for procuring something. So we try to classify them as like acquisition stage, existing stage and revisiting stage. Various CRM applications are, it might be useful for like marketing and fulfillment, customer service and support, retention and loyalty programs, contact and account management, sales like cross-selling and upselling. When we talk about a customer relationship management software, it is majorly going to be useful for relationship management with customers, let them be new or existing or lost. Now it helps us to frame a very huge database wherein we will understand why customers are buying these products, or where they are buying the products, what is happening with them. Now once this data is in place, like what we call business intelligence is in place, a CRM software might be simulated or may be used to understand various dimensions of that activities. Now the three phases of CRM can be understood as acquisition stage, like acquire, enhance and retain. Now that is in the first stage where customer life cycle these activities occur one by one. To fulfill these activities of acquisition, enhancing and retaining, we might use different CRM functional solutions like direct marketing, cross-selling and upselling, proactive service, sales force automation and customer support. Now with this, it doesn't stop there just as like a simple application. With internet, we can have a CRM web integrated solutions. So now that helps us to reach out to the customers across the world anytime 24/7. Now that is one of the reasons today majority of the service centers or businesses are opting for CRM tools. Now let us look into some of the benefits of CRM packages. CRM allows a business to identify and target their best customers so they can be retained as a lifelong customers for greater and more profitable services. CRM makes possible real-time customization and personalization of products and services based on customer wants, needs and buying habits and life cycle. Now CRM can keep track of when customer contacts the company regardless of the contact point. CRM systems can enable a company to provide consistent customer experience and superior service and support across all the contact points of a customer, whatever the customer chooses. Now these are some of the benefits. Few reasons why a customer relationship management package can be a failure are lack of understanding and preparation, relying on CRM to solve business problem without first developing process change and change management process that are really required. CRM projects implemented without the participation of business stakeholders involved. So it is important for an organization to upgrade and change its CRM packages time to time. Now let us look into the different types of CRMs. We have operational CRM, analytical CRM, collaborative CRM and portal based CRM. An operational CRM is something which supports customer interaction with greater convenience and variety of channels. Now these sort of CRMs are used in day-to-day activities or operations of the business. Similarly, analytical CRM is used to look at the data which is generated in large volumes from their day-to-day activities. So extract in-depth customer history, preferences and profitability information. Now usually this type of data is useful for predicting or in-depth understanding of what's happening with the overall customer, when you look at that as a cluster or an overall database. In collaborative CRM, it is all about understanding collaboration with customers, suppliers and partners, where you will be working together or integrating all these stakeholders to understand what is happening with the customers, like the business necessities and the business movements or transactions, how it is occurring. So you need to integrate all these stakeholders data there, and that is the reason it's called as the collaborative CRM. And we also have portal based CRM. A portal based CRM empowers all employees to respond to customer demands more quickly and become truly customer focused. One of the main benefit of portal based CRM is it gives instant access link to all internal and external customer information. Not only that, the organization would also be able to see some live information with the help of the portal based CRMs. Now with this, let us also look into some of the trending CRM packages. We have Salesforce as one of the top-notch CRM package, followed by HubSpot, Zoho CRM and Pipedrive. There could be many other CRM packages which are used widely in the industry. Apart from enterprise resource planning, supply chain management and customer relationship management, we also have other application tools or information system types which are created for specific purposes. Now we also have business process reengineering. Business process reengineering is all about a strategic approach in improving an organization's efficiency and effectiveness by fundamentally redesigning its core business processes. It involves rethinking and restructuring workflows to achieve dramatic improvements in performance such as cost reduction, quality enhancement and faster service delivery. Now, business process reengineering is a continuous process and an organization needs to reinvent or look into the processes which could be reinvented or improvised over a period of time. It is a continuous activity and that's the reason it's called as re-engineer, which could be repeated any number of times. Now, when we look at the steps in business process reengineering implementation, it goes like this. First, identify the business processes which needs to be changed. Map the existing processes. Without disturbing the existing processes, you will design the new processes to be connected or integrated from there. Identify the gaps which might exist or come over there. Redesign the process and then enable the new process. Redesign the process, implement changes, monitor and optimize towards the new process. It is always better to stay ahead in business and business process reengineering helps in achieving that. Some of the benefits of business process reengineering are cost reductions, improved customer service and satisfaction, increase in productivity and efficiency, faster decision making, greater flexibility and innovation. Now, there are certain challenges in business process reengineering. As we said, every time when you are looking into the existing process and changing, you need to reserve budget. It also consumes time. Not only that, it disturbs the existing process. Now, these are some of the challenges of business process reengineering. One is resistance to change, high implementation cost, lack of employee involvement and insufficient communication. So, it is always important for organizations to reinvent, improvise and re-engineer their existing business processes. From that point, business process re-engineering is very important. In today's session, we learnt about ERP, Enterprise Resource Planning, Supply Chain Management, SCM, and Customer Relationship Management. Also, we discussed about Knowledge Management Systems and Business Process Re-engineering. Now, let us look into some of the interesting facts from this section. Few references. Thank you.